Hello and welcome. I am a hotel AI expert with extensive experience in modern hospitality operations and performance support. I am pleased to welcome all students of Europe Hotel School to your online learning journey. We look forward to supporting your professional growth in the hospitality industry. Today, we're diving deep into the art and science of guest feedback. Now, this quote really gets to the heart of what we're talking about. We're not just looking at comments or ratings as, a simple report card. We're treating feedback as a strategic lifeline that connects how a guest feels about their stay with how your hotel actually performs. If you can master this connection, it becomes the engine that drives everything else. So here's our game plan. We're going to break this down into 5 key stages. We'll start with the foundation, the why behind it all. Then we'll get practical on how to actually capture the guest's voice. From there, we'll learn how to turn all that raw data into real, sharp insights. And most importantly, how to put those insights into action. And finally, we'll talk about building a powerful feedback-driven culture. Okay, let's kick things off with our foundation. Why, in today's world, guest feedback isn't just a nice to have, it's completely non-negotiable. Think about it. Guest expectations are changing faster than ever. What was considered a luxury yesterday is just standard today. If you're just assuming you know what your guests want, you're on a fast track to becoming irrelevant. To really succeed, you need intelligent, consistent systems to listen, adapt, and stay ahead of the curve. So, with that foundation firmly in place, let's get down to the nuts and bolts. It's time to explore the what, when, and how of capturing the guest's voice. And the goal here? It's to make giving feedback feel as easy and natural as the stay itself. And look at all the tools you have in your toolbox these days. A truly smart strategy uses a mix of these. Things like digital surveys and QR codes are fantastic for getting structured data that you can chart and analyze easily. But you should never, ever underestimate the power of a simple, genuine face-to-face conversation. That's where you find those deep emotional insights. You really need that multi-channel approach to see the whole picture. And timing is absolutely everything. Getting feedback in real time while the guest is still with you is your chance to be a hero. It allows you to fix a problem on the spot, turning a potential complaint into a story about amazing service. Post-stay feedback, on the other hand, is more reflective. It gives you that 10,000-foot view to shape your long-term strategy. You absolutely need both to be effective. So you've collected all this great data. Now what? Well, this next part is where the real magic happens. It's all about transforming that mountain of raw feedback into actionable intelligence that can genuinely guide your decisions. Quantitative data, like the scores you see here, gives you this incredibly powerful, at-a-glance dashboard. Instantly, you can see that room cleanliness is a huge win. That's something to celebrate and protect. But just as fast, your eye is drawn to food and beverage. This tells you exactly where you need to focus your attention right now. But numbers don't tell the whole story, do they? This quote is a brilliant example of why. The last slide showed a pretty low score for food and beverage overall, but this comment tells a totally different, more nuanced story. It gives you the why, the human emotion behind the numbers. In this case, it actually highlights a moment of excellence inside what looked like a problem area. So how in the world do you analyze thousands of comments like that one? Well, as a future leader, you'll be using technologies like sentiment analysis. This is where AI and machine learning actually read the emotional tone in the text. It allows you to understand at a huge scale how your guests truly feel, bridging that gap between the hard numbers and the human story. And to get even smarter, you need to do 2 more things: segmentation and benchmarking. Segmentation just means understanding that a business traveler has very different needs from a family on vacation. And benchmarking, well, that's crucial. Is an 8.2 for check-in good or bad? You have no idea until you compare it against your own goals and, just as importantly, against industry standards. All right, now, for what I think is the most important part of this whole process. Insights on a dashboard are totally useless if they don't lead to action. So this section is all about taking what you've learned and using it to make real, tangible improvements. Here's the key takeaway. A problem is a golden opportunity. When you get a real-time alert, that triggers an immediate empathetic response. You solve the problem right then and there, and this part is so important, you follow up later to make sure they're happy. When you do this well, you don't just fix an issue, you create a fiercely loyal fan who will tell everyone how you turned a bad situation around. But action can't just be a one-off thing. For real, lasting improvement, feedback has to be woven into the very fabric of your daily operations. You should be talking about it in team briefings, making it a key part of shift handovers, and building it into performance reviews. It has to become part of the hotel's natural rhythm. And that idea of rhythm brings us perfectly to our final, most advanced stage. This is where we elevate the whole concept from just a technical system to a shared mindset, a core value that every single person on your team lives and breathes. A true feedback culture really stands on these 4 pillars, and it all starts at the top with leadership commitment. When leaders truly prioritize listening and acting on feedback, it sends a powerful message to the whole organization. That drives employee engagement, which is fueled by being transparent with the results, and all of that creates this amazing, virtuous cycle of continuous improvement. I want you to really remember this metaphor. Feedback should never be a static report that gets printed out and filed in a drawer. It has to be the living, breathing rhythm of your hotel. It's the constant pulse that guides every single decision, every guest interaction, and every improvement you make. And here's the powerful effect this has on your team. When you share feedback, both the good and the bad, it connects your employees' daily tasks directly to the guest experience. They can see the impact they're having. This builds morale, it creates a real sense of ownership, and it just naturally motivates everyone to bring their A game every single day. So let's end with a question for you to take with you. As you move forward in your hospitality careers, this is going to be your challenge, but also your greatest opportunity. How will you, as a leader, design the systems, build the culture, and make the daily choices that ensure the voice of your guest is always the most important, most respected voice in the room? Your success will truly depend on your answer.